Throughout life, we are often led to believe that the best chapters emerge when we achieve something grand, a professional milestone, an extraordinary love, or a moment that feels worthy of celebration. But Carl Jung invites us to look beyond the surface, questioning what it truly means to be ready for a new chapter, and more importantly, how we prepare ourselves internally for it. Jung believed that true growth happens when we face the entirety of who we are, including the parts we tend to avoid. This process, which he called individuation, is an invitation to integrate all aspects of our psyche, the conscious, the unconscious, and especially our shadow. The shadow, according to Jung, represents everything we repress or reject within ourselves, often out of fear, shame, or the pressure to meet social expectations. But why would confronting our shadow be necessary to begin the best chapter of our lives? The answer lies in balance. When we deny parts of ourselves, we live fragmented, as if navigating with only half a map. We may achieve some external successes, but we remain restless, incomplete. The new chapter we long for, the one where we finally feel whole and fulfilled, only reveals itself when we accept the invitation to explore who we truly are, contradictions and all. Jung emphasized that the journey of individuation is neither easy nor linear. Often the first step toward a new chapter comes disguised as a crisis, losing a job, the end of a relationship, or an existential void we can no longer ignore. These moments of rupture, though painful, are also gateways. They force us to confront the old self that may no longer serve us, and to glimpse a more authentic version of who we can become. There is a powerful analogy in alchemy, which Jung used as a metaphor for psychological growth. The alchemical process of turning lead into gold symbolizes inner transformation, from the weight of our limitations and fears to the light of self-realization. Each stage of this process demands courage, introspection, and patience. The same is true for us. Before living the best chapter, we must pass through the furnace of self-discovery. Here the central question arises: are you ready? Not ready in the conventional sense of being fully prepared, but in the sense of being willing. Are you willing to let go of old narratives that no longer serve you? Are you willing to face the parts of yourself you've avoided for so long? Are you willing to embrace the unknown with all its challenges and possibilities? Readiness for the best chapter of your life doesn't come from external assurances, but from the ability to be present with yourself. It's accepting that even amidst chaos, a greater order can emerge, as long as we are willing to participate actively in this process of creation. As Jung said, what you deny dominates you. What you accept transforms you. Whether you're ready or not, the choice is always yours. After all, the author of this chapter is you. This willingness to embrace the unknown leads us to the next point. What does it truly mean to rewrite our narrative? At some point in life, we all find ourselves trapped in stories we've been told, or that we've told ourselves, about who we are. Perhaps you learned that you would only be loved if you were perfect. Maybe you internalized the idea that success means sacrificing your authenticity. Or you believe your story is already written, with no room for change. Jung challenges us to confront these limiting narratives and question their origins. He suggests that many of our personal beliefs stem from the collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared memories and patterns inherited by humanity. In other words, we carry stories that aren't entirely ours, but have been passed down through culture, family, and society. To create space for something new, we must first ask ourselves, whose voice am I really listening to? By identifying these influences, we begin to realize that we hold the power to write our own story. However, this is no trivial task. Rewriting our narrative means challenging the internal status quo, facing the ego's resistance, and embracing uncertainty. Yet it's through this process that the potential for a new chapter emerges. Jung described the ego as the part of the psyche responsible for our conscious identity. It provides a sense of control, which is essential for navigating life. But when the ego becomes rigid, it can block the flow of life. The ego clings to old stories because they offer a false sense of security. Starting a new chapter, therefore, requires a dose of humility. We must admit that absolute control is an illusion. Letting go of control can be terrifying, but also liberating. Jung often spoke of synchronicity, meaningful events that seem to happen by chance, but profoundly impact our journey. These moments remind us that there's something greater at play, an invisible intelligence guiding our lives when we align with our truth. However, to notice and embrace these synchronicities, we must remain open, free from the chains of fear and the need for certainty. Another key concept for understanding this transition is the archetype of the hero. Every great story that inspires us, whether in literature, film, or mythology, follows a similar structure. The hero, initially reluctant, is called to an adventure that pushes them out of their comfort zone. They face challenges, discover allies, confront their inner demons, and ultimately return transformed. This narrative isn't just fiction, it reflects the psychological journey we all undertake. If you feel like you're on the brink of something new, but are still hesitant, know that this is normal. As Jung pointed out, the fear of the unknown is one of the greatest obstacles of the human psyche. But it's also an invitation. Fear signals that you're standing at the threshold of something meaningful, a yet uncharted territory where the best chapter of your life might be waiting. The question then isn't whether you'll face difficulties, but how you'll respond to them. Are you willing to see challenges as opportunities for growth, to shed the old masks and show up as your true self? When we present ourselves to the world as we truly are, without masks, without fear of rejection, something remarkable happens. We begin to attract experiences and people that resonate with our essence. This doesn't mean that everything will become perfect or that we'll be immune to challenges. It means living in alignment, and this internal coherence creates a sense of purpose that sustains us even through life's storms. Jung believed that true transformation happens when we connect with the self, the deepest and most authentic core of our psyche. Unlike the ego, which is limited and often defensive, the self is vast, compassionate, and creative. It connects us to the entirety of who we are and to the world around us. The next chapter of your life isn't just about doing something different, it's about being someone different, someone more whole. To access the self, we must allow ourselves moments of introspection. In our hyperactive, productivity-focused society, silence and solitude are often undervalued. Yet it's in silence that we hear the deepest truths. Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." This awakening is the starting point for any meaningful change. An essential step in this journey is developing a conscious relationship with our values and priorities. Ask yourself, what truly matters? What do I want to carry forward into this next chapter? And what do I need to leave behind? This process of choice isn't easy. It might mean letting go of old beliefs, toxic relationships, or patterns of behavior that no longer serve you. But everything you release creates space for something new to bloom. It's important to remember that transformation doesn't happen in isolation. While it's a deeply individual journey, we are also shaped by others. The relationships we cultivate play a crucial role in our evolution. Jung noted that we project many of our unconscious qualities, both positive and negative, onto those around us. Recognizing these projections is a fundamental step toward building more authentic connections. For instance, you might project your own strength or creativity onto someone else, believing those qualities belong only to them. But by reclaiming that projection, you realize these attributes have always been yours. Similarly, the shadow aspects we see in others are reflections of something we need to confront within ourselves. Building new chapters, then, also involves transforming our relationships, seeing others more clearly, without idealizations or rejections, and learning to accept both the light and darkness they reflect back to us. Finally, it's crucial to understand that the best chapter of your life isn't a fixed destination. It's an ongoing journey marked by highs and lows, progress and setbacks. Each chapter is an opportunity to deepen your self-awareness and draw closer to your true essence. The question, "Are you ready?" doesn't demand a perfect or final answer. It asks only for the courage to take the next step, no matter how small. With each step, you'll discover that readiness isn't a state. It's a daily choice to live with authenticity, purpose, and openness to the unknown. When we decide to take that step, however uncertain, however small, we realize that readiness for the next chapter isn't about being fully prepared. It's about being willing to grow. This willingness connects us to a fundamental truth of life, that we are in constant transformation. Jung reminds us that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. This principle applies not only to interpersonal relationships, but also to our relationship with life itself. When we engage with new experiences, unexpected challenges, or even the unknown within ourselves, something always changes. What determines the quality of that change is our attitude toward it. Jung asserted that we are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become in response to what happens. This idea challenges us to take responsibility for the narrative of our lives, even when circumstances seem beyond our control. A powerful element in this journey is the symbolic imagination. Jung devoted much of his work to exploring the meaning of symbols and archetypes that inhabit our psyche. Dreams, myths, and even the stories that move us possess transformative power because they connect us to the deepest aspects of our soul. When we encounter a recurring dream or an image that resonates deeply, we are receiving a message from the unconscious, a call to examine something we may have ignored in our conscious life. For instance, imagine you often dream of a locked door. This symbol might represent something in your life that feels out of reach, a suppressed desire, an untapped opportunity, or even a part of yourself you fear facing. Jung believed that interpreting such symbols is unique to each individual, but their essence is universal. They guide us toward a more integrated and meaningful life. Recognizing these signs, however, requires presence. And being present is one of the greatest challenges of our time. We live distracted, yearning for an ideal future or weighed down by the past. Jung reminds us of the importance of anchoring ourselves in the present moment, because it is here, and only here, that real transformation happens. It is in the now that choices are made, fears are faced, and dreams take shape. A practical tool for cultivating this presence is mindfulness. While Jung didn't use this term, his ideas resonate with the essence of mindfulness, the need to connect intentionally with our thoughts, feelings, and experiences without judgment. When we are attentive, we can recognize the traps of the ego, the automatic patterns that keep us stuck in old chapters, and the moments of synchronicity that point us toward new paths. Being ready for the best chapter of your life, then, doesn't mean waiting for an ideal future or striving for perfection. It means inhabiting the present moment with courage, curiosity, and compassion for yourself. It means accepting that the journey won't be linear, but that each step, no matter how uncertain, brings you closer to the life you want to create. In the end, we may discover that the best chapter isn't a singular moment, but the sum of all the instances in which we chose to live authentically. As Jung so poetically said, "Who looks inside, awakens." And awakening is the first step to writing the next chapter of your story. If you're ready to write the best chapter of your life, remember, change starts now, within you. If this video inspired you, leave a like, share in the comments how you plan to take your next step, and subscribe to the channel for more reflections like this. Don't forget to check out the recommended videos on the end screen. They might be the next step on your journey. Let's embrace this transformation together.